Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of OPTC Hardcore. We are now on episode 7. Let me change this quickly. And today we are going to be going through KIZUNA. So sorry yesterday there was no episode. I was a bit busy. Didn't have any opportunity to record, but we're back today. I did do a small amount of things off camera. I did one clash, but it was a very easy one. It was just so that I could clear some of the Chopper Man missions, which required me to complete a clash. So I just took a very easy one that was available today, which was the Vice Admirals, which gave me about 6 free-to-play characters. Most of them are pretty trash. We have Momonga here, Strawberry. I think his name is Shun here, the one that rusts Zoro swords. I think this guy's name is Blueberry. Momonga and Vice Admiral Dalmatian. Yeah. Okay. So these are the characters. They're not very useful, except Shun. He's actually a 3-star character, but he's going to be very useful for this KIZUNA because there is going to be a lot of death hit, and being able to just tank it completely is quite helpful. He's not a slasher unit, which is kind of annoying. He's not going to really do damage on our team, but he has very low stats regardless, so not too much of a problem. Besides that, I did purchase this buggy unit from the Pirate King Adventure shop. He's the only other character besides the Odin, which I did show in the last video. So this guy is going to reduce damage nullification. One of the only free-to-play characters that does this. Not a lot of options here. The only other option was to use the Blackbeard in the PKA shop. As I mentioned in the previous video, he allows you to bypass enemy defensive effects, but Buggy's better for this team. Of course, Blackbeard is not a slashy unit, so under Mihawk, Buggy is going to be a much more powerful unit. Besides that, I have gotten sockets on a lot of my characters. Since Buggy does need 15 skill ups, it's very helpful that we do have access to the 100% chance of special level up. It just means that from farming the daily manual quest, I've been able to get a massive amount of manuals, which makes it very easy to level up these characters as special. So when it comes to our guaranteed special level up, it's only around for 1 more week. I calculated it is going to disappear next week Sunday. Speaking of which, it is Sunday, so it is going to be the single pull of the week today. Later on, once KIZUNA ends and I can do OPTC run, I will do the single pull of the week. Hopefully this week we get a bit more lucky, get our hands on something a bit better than Clohado and Django, who I have used a teeny bit, but really haven't. They don't do much that our other characters can't do, so haven't used them too much, but it is what it is. The KIZUNA is quite interesting. I have already built teams just so we can get through this very quickly. But I, of course, will explain what I'm using before I go into the quest. So I am actually just going to be doing the 7-star difficulty. 10-star difficulty is just, it's ridiculous. It's out of the bounds of this account. Later on, it definitely will be possible. But for now, there's a 7-star difficulty for a reason. I don't know why 3-star difficulty exists. There's no one who should be using this. I mean, 7-star difficulty is doable, even on this very fresh account where I'm only using free-to-play characters. So, I mean, 7-star, it's good enough. Let's take a look at the gimmick. So, for the first boss is going to be against Dex. And, of course, we are using Mihawk as our captain, a 5.5x attack boosting captain. So, Shiroshi and Manshri is Dex here. So, of course, our kid, which we got from PKA, is very useful here. He is quite exceptional in his stats because he is 2700 attack, and he is also boosted with 1.5x stats, and he has type advantage. Of course, he's a slasher, so he works under the Mihawk, but there's also a lot of annoying orb related gimmicks in both of these bosses. So his ability to just give us empty orbs is it's going to see a lot of play here. So he also reduces barriers, so overall, he just helps in many different aspects. Exceptional character. I'm glad we did the PKA in the previous video, because if we didn't, this would be much more unrealistic to complete. So let's take a look at the gimmicks and see what each unit is going to do. So stage 2, there's going to be a 3-turn defense up. We also get a full board of type orbs, and type orbs are made negative. So to get around this, we are just going to be using Kid. He's going to empty those orbs. He changes type slots into empty, and it does a bunch of damage. So even though it isn't beneficial orbs, empty orbs is still better than non-beneficial orbs. It's essentially neutral. So if you just have a dex orb on a side character, there's type neutrality. There's no matching orbs. There's no unfavorable orbs. Empty orbs have that same multiplier. So it's better than having the negative orbs, but it's not as good as having beneficial orbs. I was going to use the Lao G we got from the Release Bazaar to provide us with G orbs here. Unfortunately, I don't have a Macvice, Dellinger, or Diamante to put Lao G as a support character on. And the only way to do that would be to farm story mode, which has a very low drop rate, or to do the Macvice Coliseum, which is quite difficult. I'd rather do that on camera. So for now, we're just gonna have to use Kid to get around that. The defense up, Mihawk gets around, and he also provides us an attack boost of 2.75x. Then on the final stage, our top row gets special binded. We will just ignore that. The enemy has a threshold of 4 turns, which Saga reduces. We also have a chain coefficient reduction and also a chain minimum attack down. The enemy has a 1-turn bomb orb barrier, which we will remove using Kid. On second thought, there are a few problems here that I haven't accounted for. The only one is actually going to be the chain coefficient reduction. I am using this Luffy here to give us a chain boost, but I was relying on tap timing increase in our chain to get us past the chain minimum attack down. Unfortunately, it looks like I'm gonna have to get someone from the PKA shop who will give us a chain boundary or a chain lock effect. Otherwise, this team will not work. As for the barrier on the final stage, the Odin we actually got from the PKA shop is going to come in handy. Kid also removes the barrier, but of course we use him on stage 2. Saga, as I said, provides the attack boost and also removes threshold. So it's not a train smash, we just need to get a chain locking unit from the PKA shop and we should be hunky-dory. I'm not sure who I want to get. Obviously, I would rather get my hands on a slasher character. The boss is Dex, so preferably a strength unit would be helpful. I think this Whitebeard would probably be our best bet because I see myself using him in multiple different pieces of content, not just in this instance. This is one of the best free-to-play characters in the game, so I think he should be the best bet. He is also a slasher unit. He super evolves into his strength version, so if we get a lot of insignia, maybe one day we can get our hands on his super evolution skulls, but for now he's a chain boundary unit. If our captain is a slasher or striker, Mihawk is of course a striker unit. He also removes burn, which now that I think about it is perfect for the next boss against Int. Yeah, that's actually quite huge. He's going to be very helpful. I don't think I have the materials to limit break him, but I'm just going to power him up and then I'll meet you guys in the quest. What's quite interesting here is that he actually does get super tandem when we get into the limit break expansion and get his super tandem maxed, which would require 4 duplicates, so that's quite expensive. But if you get it maxed, or even just to level 4, then you only need Odin on the team. Remember, we did get Odin from the shop, so we'd be able to get access to super tandem of 1.4x, which definitely could be quite helpful. And I think you can activate it whenever you need to in the quest, so it doesn't have to be on the final stage. Just something to keep in mind, and luckily he doesn't require any special limit break materials. I was able to get him maxed, of course not expansion quite yet. I did give him some cotton candy since he is a very crucial character as a free-to-play unit. If a character I'm going to use them very often, I will give them cotton candy. Of course, it is quite a limited resource on this account. But let me see, who can I replace him with? Of course, Luffy. If he did have his super evolution, he'd have type advantage. But for now, he is quick, which quite ironically makes him have type disadvantage against Shirahoshi and Mancherry. Either way, he also gets around stun, so he's actually perfect for the next boss against Int. Of course, we are using our double Mihawk. Honestly, this account is looking pretty mighty fine so far. We have a lot of good characters here. We're slowly building up, as I said in the previous video. If we can beat 7-star KIZUNA this early on, 1 week into the account, I'd say that's a pretty good achievement, especially with all of our restrictions. Okay, so Chopper's going to charge our specials. The good thing about the low difficulty is that all units get their cooldowns charged, not just specific types or classes. So we don't have to worry about that. So stage 1 we can just pass. We don't have to worry about any type of stall. Although I guess if our damage is low, we could stall for the ship special, but right now I don't really care about that. So we're going to use Mihawk for an attack boost and removing the defense up. And then of course Kid. Okay, perfect. It also gives us a crit buff, but honestly, with our units having like no limit break and no potential abilities maxed, a crit buff is kind of irrelevant. Okay, so Shiroji is going to give us special bind and then leave like a coward, and then we get our chain coefficient reduction. The unfavorable orbs debuff disappears. We can use Saga, yeah. Use Saga for the attack boost. We don't have guaranteed matching orbs, so this is a bit of a problem. This is why I should get my hands on the Vivi from story mode, because she attaches to all units as a support and just gives them a matching orb on the final stage. Because I mean, in this case, Kid is the only main damage dealer here, since he has type advantage, has massive stats, right? So having him with a matching orb would be good enough. Luckily the enemy's HP is quite low here, and of course our white bid allows us to get right past the chain minimum attack down, even with that chain coefficient reduction. So first boss here, quite an easy clear. The next one is much more difficult because of all the HP reducing gimmicks. The enemy is going to give us stun on stage 2, then we'll deal like 20k upon death, and then the final stage has a instant burn, which we can actually remove now thanks to the white bid. So this team should be much stronger now that we have him. But once I clear both of these and show you guys what I'm doing, I will just farm off camera. We only got about 7 tickets there, but I should be able to do about like 30 to 40 runs. So I'll do that off camera, and then I can meet you guys in the next video where we can choose some units to buy from the insignia. Of course, there's a lot of luck involved in terms of getting the insignia from the boxes. So hopefully we do get lucky when we do some of those pulls. So we do have Shun there. I don't know what I should do here. Should I run Whitebeard as the friend captain? Because we don't have a lot of space here. Buggy is essential. Shun is essential as well. Since Saga does cut out HP, he gets around the stun, but we have a very low amount of HP to work with to deal with the death hit. So I think I am going to have to run... Yeah, I'm going to have to run the Whitebeard as a friend captain. It's not a train smash. Of course, he is a weaker captain compared to Mihawk, but he should be somewhat usable. Cruise cooldown by 1. Strike and slash, you get a 4x attack boost if you have low HP, which we do. And then a 1.5x HP boost. Okay, never mind, I am sold. I think he's actually going to be better to use because we do need a lot of HP just to handle the burn on the final stage as well. Okay, so this should be fine. Our first hybrid captain in the game. Remember, I can use my own friend captain. So if I am going to run a hybrid unit as a friend captain, I'd have to have them on my account. So there's that. Let's go straight into it. We are running Luffy support on Kid just to boost his stats even further. Unfortunately, we literally have no type advantage here, so I'm a bit scared about damage. But honestly, as long as we beat the gimmicks, the HP really isn't that crazy at these levels on the 7-star difficulty. Okay, so Shun, I really wasn't expecting to use him. But when I saw him, I looked at his special after getting him. I was like, okay, that is exactly what we need. Without him, I'm pretty sure we'd die. Chopper does lock our orbs on stage 1, which is not really that useful. Okay, our damage is quite low. If you can't even beat these, the turtles, we can't break through the defense. In the first team there, we were able to, like, break through them very quickly. It's definitely because the captain's weaker. And since our HP is quite high right now, the Whitebeard is only a 3.5x attack boosting captain. But after using Saga here, we are now going to be running with a 4x attack boosting captain. And then, of course, Mihawk. Saga gives us a 3-turn attack boost, which is great. It'll last until the final stage. Regardless, Miok would have just given us an attack boost anyway, so that doesn't really matter. What else? So we're going to use Buggy. We can also use his swap effect to give him a matching orb and some color affinity. His special reduces the damage null. And then of course Shun to tank the death hit. And luckily the special limiter isn't going to be much of an issue here. And Nami has very low HP. So if we didn't have Shun, we'd take 20k here and we would have died. So thank you, Shun. Very helpful. And then we can use Kid, Whitebeard, and Miok, and that should be enough. The enemy has defense up. Once again, Miok is coming in clutch. What else? So there is going to be Intimidation for attack boosts. So that's actually perfect. So we carried over the attack boost from Saga. And if you don't know, Intimidation, it reduces the number of turns of a buff if you try and give it. So if we used an attack boost on the final stage here, it would be completely disappeared. That would have completely removed it. But if you carry over a buff, Intimidation does not affect it. So Saga is actually quite useful there. But besides that, we can just use Miok here for the defense up. We can use Kid to remove our orbs because the enemy takes less damage from type slots. So once again, the empty orbs are coming in clutch. The burn is 5k per hit, so we would actually die in 2 perfects, which we don't want. So of course, Whitebeard removes that and gives us a chain boundary effect, allowing us to handle the enemy quite easily here. So I think these are very solid teams. For what we have, that was smooth. I can't lie, man. So you guys got to drop a like for that. Get the video to 5 likes at least. Okay, so I would say these should be safe to level 30 to 40 because remember the HP scaling here is much lower compared to 10 star. There's not a lot of growth in the enemy's HP. It's very minuscule, irrelevant. Yeah, I have 390 tokens. So if we do some quick maths, we can do about 26 runs, I think. So I'll be able to get to around about 30, level 30, and we won't be able to do any more. I did actually end up, or we can get the potions from the KIZUNA shop. Now, as a new player, insignia is very scarce, so you don't want to be wasting it on all these potion deals, but there is one where you can get it for 1 insignia. This one is definitely worth it. Same for the second one here for 5 insignia. Beyond that, I really wouldn't say it's worth it because for 25 insignia here, you can get a free-to-play unit. You really don't need a lot of potions as a new player anyway, so just get these 2 bottom ones. I will probably do those in the next video when we do go through these boxes. Remember, the KIZUNA exchange stays for about a week after KIZUNA ends, so you don't have to worry about that until KIZUNA is finished. Don't waste your time when you need to get these clears in. But that's about it for this episode. 18 minutes. Since today is a Sunday, we will be doing Singapore of the week. And since yesterday I didn't make an episode, I will make a second episode for today. So expect both of them. In later on in this episode, I will probably go through Colosseum Neptune and then also do the Singapore of the week and some OPTC run, which will be a lot more doable now that I'm on a emulator and not playing on my shitty phone. But that's about it. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, and I'm out.